Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? 1 of 1 back again, and you'll notice there may be a few changes around here. So one, I did try the auto miner, and it made this really big hole, but it didn't bring up any ore, right? So not super helpful. So then I built another one of these deep miners, and I think deep miners are the only thing that can get the dirty ore. So I've got 2 of those guys, and I've got this set up to go through a chute system. So this is the first one. So it's going to go through here into this little stacker over here. The stacker set to 50 because that is the max stack for dirty ore. And then this one is also tied into the same one. So this is just a little, what do you call it, a two-way. So it comes out here, goes that way, goes in this way, goes out that way as well. And then when these get up to a full 50 stack, then they go up into the silo. And then in the silo, they store as full stacks. So if you did not stack them before you did this, they would be in the silo in stacks of 10 or 11, because that's what the the stuff comes out as. The dirty ore is usually in stacks of 10, 11. So right now I can tell you that I have 700 dirty ore in here. And then I've got 3 of these guys now. So these are just the centrifuges. So that one has dirty ore in it currently, but it's not turned on. This one has nothing. This one also has nothing. And then I have these just set through a bunch of flip-floppers. So it'll go through this one, flip this way, flip that way, flip this way, flip that way, etc., so on, so forth. And actually I might be able to show you how this works. So flip, 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 right? So it's just kind of flipping. All right, so that is all of the things. So now we can see that we've got some ore there, we've got some ore there. And then this is stuck here. Okay, so this needs to be an overflow instead. Okay, hang on, I can fix this, I can fix this. I also should probably put like an input over here so I can just throw stuff back in here. Right, so let me change this then. Ooh, hey, there we go. That's flying all over the place. Okay. Then we'll take that one out as well. All right, so 50 dirty ore. I would like you to go into there, and then I need the overflow. There we go. Okay, so that has to go the other way. There we go. So there's 1 overflow, there's 2 overflows. Okay. So the idea here is it'll go through here until that's all the way filled up, and then it'll overflow. And then I need to put these back in there. And can I like take that one off for a moment? Yes, I can. Okay, good. I would like you to go up into there. There's another one over here I would like to get. Alright, I don't need that. So I'll take that, put that up in there as well. There's another one. Now, hopefully once this is like working properly, I won't have to worry about this. Was that it that popped out of there? I don't remember. I think that might have been it. Okay, so then we need to go up here with a corner. All right, sir, can you allow me to get up here, please? Thank you. All right, so now that is back to what it was doing. Good. All right. So now we should fill all of this up, and then it'll just kind of keep going. Yeah, so it shoots through. And once it gets into here, it'll shoot through there. Then once it gets through there, it'll shoot through there. And then it'll keep on trying to empty this so long as this is pulled. But we still have a stack in there, so I had just enough to keep this thing like all the way. All right, good. So that's how this is going to work. Very simple, just to keep these things kind of running. And then as these, fill up, it'll, backfill, whatever. Okay, so now here is the fun thing that I was working on that I just kind of wanted to check. So apparently this one doesn't like something. Okay, so I think it's because I'm looking at the wrong thing and it doesn't like it, which makes sense. All right, so here's what I've got here. So we have these things, right? So this is a digital flip-flopper thing, right? and you can change ratios and do all kinds of other things, but here's the interesting thing, right? So if we take a look at this, so this is looking, or this is going to output to the test flopper, that guy, right? And then we're going to output the mode, right? And then if we switch the mode, you can see that the arrows change, right? So if we can control the mode on this thing, right, then we should be able to stick some logic behind it, hopefully. At least that's the idea. So I've got this logic reader, which is a slot reader, which is reading inside of here. So like if we look at the info for the test flopper, no, sorry, flippo flopper. Okay. So here's all the different things that it's got, right? So if you read the normal logic, you can pull the power, quantity, prefab hash, mode on setting, required power, right? If you pull the logic slots, so this would be a logic slot reader, this would just be a logic reader, so two different readers. We have occupied, occupant hash, quantity, damage, class, max quantity, prefab hash, so you can pull prefab hash out of both, and then sorting class. Now I don't know what a lot of this stuff is, but occupant hash, so hash would be an identifier for, it's used in games. It is a numerical ID, I guess, for one particular item, right? So that's what that is. So we want to look at that. And then let's say that we want this thing to look at coal specifically, right? So if we look in here, we can see that this hash is 17247934994, right? Okay. Now, how do we know that this is reading the right thing? Well, we test it, of course. I need one coal here. Now, I've got two valves on here, and I've got them shut off, so this thing doesn't, like, try to, you know, put anything anywhere, right? So we've got one in there currently, right? And it's stuck. And you can see that it's not really doing anything, which could be an issue, potentially. But let's take this other coal over here, and we'll stick this one in here as well, right? So now that thing's going crazy, but it's reading the occupant hash, right? So that is saying that it is reading 17247934994, which should sound familiar because that is what this prefab hash is, right? So this is detecting that it's got coal inside of it. Now, from a gaming perspective, this is important because you want to make sure that the stuff you put in is also the stuff you put out. Otherwise, you end up with like potential duplication exploits and blah, 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 right? So this can read the hash. Now, the question here is, this only read the hash after I put in the second one. So is this not going to work or is it going to work? I don't know. So that's kind of what we're testing here. So right now it's going a little crazy. That's fine. And as soon as I open up one of these things, it's going to shoot it out, like guaranteed. So what we have to do here is, well, one, we're going to clear this so it stops going nutso right here. But we are going to compare what comes out of here to this memory slot, which, by the way, also has 17247934994 in it, right? So we're holding the hash of the coal in memory, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare, and this needs to be the logic reader coal, yeah. And we're going to make sure that that logic reader for coal, so that would be this guy, logic reader coal, okay. Actually, that should be slot reader coal, not logic reader. I should probably change that. Let me change that. I don't know. I'm trying to get this thing to make sense in my head, because if I can make it make sense in my head, then I can make it do stuff. All right, so there's that. All right, so this is reading the slot reader for coal, right? It is going to check if it is equal to our memory. So this we have to change to memory coal, right? Which is what I named this thing, memory coal. Now, if it equals that, it'll give us a 1. Right? So it's reading this, it's saying, hey, there's coal in there, right? Now, what we're doing here is we're outputting to a logic writer. Now, we don't want to do a batch writer because we don't want to write to a bunch of these things. We want to write to one specifically and this one specifically, right? So we're going to check what this thing's outputting. So it's either going to be a 1 or a 0, right? So we're checking our logic compare coal, which is what that thing's called, right? So we're checking that. We're going to output to our test flopper, which is that guy right there. Now this would be named to like the coal flopper or something, or flopper coal. And then this would output specifically to that. Now, you noticed over here when we were looking at this, this was set to mode, right? So if I output the mode, right, to whatever this is, so what's going to happen, or at least what should happen, is like this is a 1 and 0, right? So if this puts out a 1, it'll change this to there or there, one of the two, right? Let's say that that is 1 and that is 0, right? So if it detects coal, it's going to send it out, well, first it's going to make this equal 1, and it'll send out a 1, right? So that'll make that stick over there. If it detects something other than coal, it'll detect, well, the compare will fail, which will then put out a 0, and then we're going to write that 0 into our mode, which will then activate that side, right? So that's the idea anyways, so we'll see if it works. So that kicked out all of that stuff, and we got that kicked out as well. Okay, so we'll pick up all of our coal. Probably should have done it differently. Okay, so now, this is currently reading a 1, okay? So if that is reading a 1, okay, so now this is a 0, right? Okay, yeah. Hang on. Okay. So 1 is up, and then 0, I suppose that makes sense. So normal operation is go straight through, right? So that's why that's the 0, because that's the first state. And then the abnormal operation, or the 1, would be the one that shoots off to the side. So if I put the coal in here, it should shoot out of there and not out of there, provided this thing works correctly. Did not work. Okay, hold on, let me try it one more time. Okay, so now it pops it up there. Okay, so now it is literally just flopping, or flipping and flopping. So either this thing is not fast enough to write. Actually, hang on. Let me like lock this in. Okay.
Power low.
Oh, calm down with that. Now, I may also want to look at the prefab hash. And basically I need to read or look at whatever is the fastest thing to read. So I thought occupancy might be the best one, but maybe not. Okay, so that is reading currently 0, which means that our output is currently 0. Okay, so then this thing, okay, let me change this to the prefab hash and see if that picks up anything differently. Can you give me that thing, please, sir? Okay, so we're looking at the transport slot. Well, let me just change this out. Occupied prefab hash. Okay, so what is that reading? It's also reading a 0. Oh, well, that's also... Okay, hang on. Okay, so that's where our coal went. Now we'll close these both again to get the coal trapped in there. Okay, now what is that reading? It's still reading... Why is that reading occupied? Hang on. Let me get over here. Okay, so we're reading the test flopper. Okay. Prefab hash. Transport slot. Oh. Oh, it's in occupied right now. Okay. Yeah, okay, so let's look at the prefab hash. See what that reads. That also reads 0. Well, I was kind of hoping that this would read whatever is in there currently, but it seems like it doesn't want to do that. And then you can also like change these manually just by clicking on them. Okay, so that's doing a thing apparently. Okay, so that's a 0, right? Yeah, okay, so if we want that to go there, then as soon as we open up that, that should be where the coal pops up, but apparently it doesn't want to. It's reading a 0 state, and it's writing a 0 state, which is why that is set to the 0 state, which will shoot it out this way. Okay. so this is a 0 state, and then still a 0 state, and it popped it up there. Okay. Okay, so that's still just flipping it back and forth, which does not help my cause here. Okay. I need some way for this thing to read what's in there currently. So like I should be able to pop that in, right? And it should read whatever is in there. So I'm gonna lock this down and get it to stick in there again. Okay, and then I guess I'll just like cycle through all of this stuff and see what it reads. Quantity, it's reading 0. Okay, sorting class is 0, slot class is 0, slot damage is 0, max quantity is 0. It's not reading like anything in here. Okay, what other stuff do we have here? Okay, so that's the only thing that it's got. Okay. So let me change this to the other type. Okay, so we'll throw that back in here. And we'll put this in here as a logic reader. Okay. And then, yeah, I need to rename it first. Logic reader, cool. Confirm, okay. All right, so now we need to make this thing look at, so it's not looking at anything right now, so we're gonna send it back to the test flopper, okay. Now, currently it is looking at the power. Okay, so power is reading 0. If we go to, well no, now it's reading power. Power is 0. Mode is 0. Setting, 0. Quantity, 0. Required power, 0. Prefab hash, 0. So it's not actually reading anything in here. Well, that sucks. So why is this thing not... It's like it's not reading what's inside of there. Oh wait, no, I have to turn it on. Is that why? Maybe that was why. Okay, so power, okay, so it is powered. Okay, its mode is 1. Setting apparently is 1. Quantity is 0. Required power, okay, so it is on. Okay, prefab hash. Okay, so now with this, it's reading the coal. All right. 163728359. No, I don't think that's the coal. 163728359. 163728359. No, I already lost it. 163728359. Nope, lost it again. Dang it. 1637228. 163728359. Okay. And that's just reading what it is. Okay, so that's not helping me at all. Okay. So it's reading itself, basically. Huh. I need it to read like what's inside of there currently. Like before it, tries to flip it anywhere. Okay, so that's got to look at logic reader coal. Okay, and it's got to set that equal to this guy, which it is not reading correctly. Okay, so that means that this is probably not the way to do this. So there is another potential option here. I suppose I could take this thing apart. And this is the option that I was hoping I could find a workaround But if we take a look at the sorter itself, oh, it had already pushed it into there. Okay. I have to think about this for a second. Okay, so the reason why it was reading nothing in there is because there was literally nothing in there. It had already pushed it through. So now the question is, can my little setup here? Okay, so that's closed, okay. Can this work fast enough to output properly? So that means that this has to go back into the slot reader. So let's, no, wrong thing. I need this guy. Alright, so you need to be in the slot reader. Okay, so there's the slot reader. Turn this guy on. Alright. And then, okay, so we want you to read from the test flopper. Okay. And it only has the transport slot to read from. Okay. And then the occupant hash. Okay, so that should... Okay, so if this is fast enough, which I'm guessing it probably won't be, and then this thing needs to be changed to... Wait, slot reader? Yes. Okay, so that changed that. I mean, it's pretty fast, but I don't think it's fast enough. Wow, really? I threw it right at it and I still missed? Whatever, it's fine. Okay. Okay, so that put it there. Okay. No, it didn't work. I mean, it is flipping, just not fast enough. Like, watch the arrows, right? So it did read... I didn't set it back yet. Or is it just, is that the normal flip-flop? That is the normal flip-flop, okay. Yeah, that's just the normal flip-flop doing its flip-floppy thing. Okay, hang on, what if, no, I'm fairly certain that's not actually doing anything. Okay, so that's going out that way. It's going out the top, going out that way again. Okay, yeah, so this is not doing what I want it to do. Okay. So we know at the very least that this method does not seem to work. Okay, so is there a way... Because I mean, like, I think the problem is that as soon as it gets something in here, like it doesn't even care about what's in there, right? I could set this to basically whatever I want, right? So that's just gonna flop it every other time. I don't like this. I thought that it would work. Apparently not. So what other cool stuff can we try here? All right, what else do we have actually? I need something with something to read, right? So there's the flip-flop splitter thing. Okay, so that's the normal one. Then we have the valve, okay. Then we have the overflow. Then we have the inlet. Okay, so no, that's, I thought I could make that work, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make that work. So we have this sorter, right? Now I didn't want to use this thing because it's huge, right? But if I can make something work at least. maybe that would be worth it. Okay, and that's power and stuff over there. Oh yeah, I need to flip it around this way because reasons. Now, supposedly this thing has like a sorter motherboard or something that you have to put in there. It's like, dude, I don't even want to mess with that stuff. Like, why? Why do you do this to me? Okay, so that's the input. These are the outputs. Supposedly there's space for a motherboard in here somewhere. I mean, we've got the data disk slot, but that doesn't... Like, am I supposed to do something with that? Like, what are we doing? Like, how is this thing supposed to work? Right? Like, how is that going to do anything? I don't know. And there's nothing on the back here for us to open or pull out, so I'm just gonna... I don't know, man. Okay, let me put this thing over here, and we'll try to see if we can make this thing work the way that I want it to work. Okay, so that now has power. So we can turn this guy off because that's not actually doing what I want it to do. All right, so I really don't want to use this thing though. I want it to be simpler, not as you know? Okay, so if I were to take my little 3 ore of coal, and I were to throw that in there, right? So now that's in there, and it just spit it out automatically. Really? Rude. I mean, isn't there like something you gotta open, something somewhere? I don't know, like, is it on the bottom? Actually, is it on the bottom? Why would it be on the bottom? It wouldn't be on the bottom, right? No, that would be dumb. It would absolutely not be on the bottom, because that would be super, super dumb. But it's like it's got, I don't know, like something, I mean, that's just the data disk slot. Okay, no, so that is, it can be flipped around like that, and that's it. And sorter is the only option available in here, so I guess it is what it is. All right. So if I were to put this into here, okay, so now that is now currently reading, or it's got whatever it needs in there, right? Right. Yeah, we'll take that apart, we'll take that apart, we'll take that apart.
Hydration critical.
Really? Okay, so there's our powered chutes, and then this needs a hand drill for some reason. Sir. There we go. Okay. So that can go there, and then we'll pick this up, and then we'll just throw both of these things into here. Alright, let's go get some water. Switch out this thing. Okay, there's our water. There's your French fries. Okay. What else we got? How's our oxygen? We'll replace our oxygen. We'll also head down here. Okay. Good to go. Alright. We'll throw this in there.
Waste tank critical.
Waste tank critical. I don't care. This is a very slow process. But I'm doing it like this because that's what you guys said to do, so I'm doing it. Alright, good enough? I think that's good enough. Alright. So there's that. We have lots of food, so that's good. Lots and lots of tomato soup, so we're good on food for a while, which is good. so we'll head back outside. Okay. So let's see what this sorter has, right? So sorter, and we'll kind of see. Okay, so can be programmed via a computer with a sorter motherboard to direct various items into different chute networks. Yeah, but that's like a whole, you need like a computer thing and like, nah, dude. Okay, so we have prefab hash, required power import count. So I'm thinking I need to look at the logic slots again. Okay, and I'm thinking occupant hash here. And then I think I have to figure out which one it's looking at. Like, why does it have 4 options? What? Wait, hold on. Let me flip-flopper. What did you have? You had just 0. Okay. But then again, I don't actually know how this thing's gonna work. Okay, so we're gonna read our sorter thing, okay? So let me set this thing up again. And, okay, so we're gonna look at, actually, let me go backwards. Stacker. Okay, so there's our stacker. No, we don't want that stacker. We want a sorter. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so sorter. And then we want to look at export slot 2, import data disk. What? That's a slot? What? Okay, so we have export 2, slot 3. We have slot 2. We have slot 1. Okay, and then we want to look at the occupant hash. I think that's what we want. Currently flashing an error. Why are you flashing an error? Right, occupant hash. Okay. So this, even this is reading 0. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's the, wait, what, why? Oh, import, okay, yeah, right. Okay. So if we set this to look at the occupant hash for the import side, that is the hash for coal right there. Okay, now I need to figure out, does this have a mode? Hang on. Sorter. Okay, this has occupied. No, here we go. Mode. Okay. Mode is read write. Power error sorting class. How output? Let's pretend that it's output for now. Okay, so then we want our writer guy. Okay, so this is going to be looking at this. Okay, so that is reading that, and it's saying that this compared to, well, what it's reading in there, compared to our memory of the hash for coal, it is saying that it does equal the same thing. Okay, so that's good. Before I set this up, I'm going to set this thing to... I have too much stuff on this network. Okay, so we're going to look at this sorter, and we're going to set this to output. Okay, so output, and then we're going to turn this on. And we're going to turn this on. Okay, so now output currently is at 1. Okay, so that puts it out on the far side. Nope, that put it on the near side. That put it on the far side. Okay. Near side, okay. So that is not doing a thing. Okay, so maybe it's not output. Let's try mode. Okay, so mode currently is set to 1. Okay. Okay, so that sort of held it in place, I think. so if I turn the mode off, it doesn't... Okay, wait, no. I turned it off, didn't I? Okay, so let's flip the other way. Okay, so now it's just holding on to it. Okay. And then it's reading the occupant hash. Okay. And as soon as I do that, it reads 0 again. Okay, but that's not what I need to control here. So, mode lock on clear memory output. Hang on, what do we have available here? How do I control which one it goes out of? You would think that would be the output, right? Right? I mean, that seems fair, right? Okay, so if we put this into the output and we set the output to 0, right, that's 1, that's 0, okay. So then if we set that, nope, I did not want that in there. Okay. So if we do that, came out the front. Okay. Now it came out the back. Okay, so this is not doing what I want it to do. And then if I throw this in there, okay, that went out the back. Went out the front. Okay, so even like resetting this thing doesn't actually fix anything. Huh. How do I control which output you send this to? That is the question. Okay, hang on. So what if... Okay, so we're gonna logical compare. Okay, we're gonna push this out to... Actually, let me go backwards. Sorter, okay. And then we're gonna change this to output. Okay, so now maybe this will catch it. So that sent it out the back. That sent it out the back. That sent it out the back. That sent it out. Okay, so that seems to be working. Let me make sure that thing's turned off. Still sent it out the back. Good. Now it sent it out the front. Now it sent it out the back. Okay, so then this thing has to be set to 1. This is up. So this is the output, right? And then if that's set to 1, now it's in the front, now it's in the back, now it's not working. What? Oh, right, I gotta turn this thing on. Okay, so we're forcing the output to stay at 0. Okay, so now it's going out the front, back, back, okay, back, back, okay. Okay, so then I have to force the output to be at 0, and then control, wait, no, this is also looking at the output. Okay, so this is, hang on. Okay, so we're holding the output at 0 here, and I think that just resets it each time, right? So that's output, right? Yeah, okay. So we're writing to the output twice. This one will change based on that, though. So we've got a constant, and it's like they're both just kind of fighting each other, I guess. But I mean, it's... No, now it's going out the front. What? Now it's like switching. Like, what are you doing? Okay. Okay, so if we change the mode to 0, nope, sir, give me that back, please. Okay, so that went out into the back. That went out the front. Like, there's no, like, rhyme or reason to this thing. Okay. All right. So we can write to mode, we can write to on, we can write to output, we can write to lock. What does lock do? Split, filter, logic. Okay, so that's the mode. Oh, do I have to set the mode to 2? How do I set the mode to 2? I mean, this thing only sets a 1 or a 0, right? Okay. So what if I put a data disk in there? Like, what does that actually do? Actually, hold on, let me... Okay, let me turn this thing off. Okay, I think that went out the back. 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 Went out the back again. Okay. Now it went out the front. Now it went out the back. Back again. Now it goes out the front. Where? Data disk. Let me read this thing. This doesn't tell me anything. I mean, there's no way to like write to this thing, right? Like you'd think that you could like maybe preset some stuff. Hang on, what if I were to name it? Can't rename it, okay. So that apparently is not a thing. All right, so how... I mean, this would be so much easier if I could just get that other thing to work, because then I wouldn't have to worry about all this crap. So... Okay, so that went out the back. Went out the back again. Now it went out the front. Like, there's no logic behind this thing. Either that or this is not fast enough to keep up with it. Okay, so... So if I turn this thing off, okay, so right now this is reading a 0, right? So if I turn this thing off and I throw that in there, it's still going to accept it. It's going to read it and it's going to say, hey, this is coal, right? So now this is going to output a 1, which I think is that far one. So now if I turn it on, it goes out the far one. So then if I turn it off again, okay, so now it's reading that 1 again. So that should go to the back again, right? Okay. Turn this off again. Okay, reading, setting. Turn it back on. It's going to the back again. Okay. Turn this thing on. All right. Oops. Sorry. this off first. Then turn this thing on. Okay, so that seems to be working. So we just, if we turn this thing off, we slow it down, right? So it can still accept stuff in there, and then it'll just lock itself in place. That gives it time to read it, compare it, and then write the output signal, so that way when you turn it back on, it spits out to the proper one. And then you need it to turn back off again. Okay, so let me try something else. We're gonna look at its occupied status. Occupant hash, variable. Okay, so we're gonna look at occupied, right? Now, if it is occupied, or if it is not occupied, hang on. Okay, so now if I read it directly from our logic writer, no, logic writer col, we need to read from our slot reader. Okay, slot read. Sorry. Okay, so slot reader, right? We're gonna put it out to there, and we're gonna put this on power on. Okay. So now, if this reads that it is occupied, it'll sound at a 1. Now, it's currently reading, well, I also have to read if it's powered or not. Okay, so then this, I want to put this onto power. Whoops. On. Okay, so that's on. Oh wait, no, I have to turn this thing on. There we go. Okay. So with a state of 1, it is on. With a state of 0, it is off. Okay. Okay, so let me change this to 0. Okay, and then if we compare this to 0, okay. Hang on, stay with me here. All right, so we're looking at this to see if it's occupied, right? As soon as it's occupied, this will become a 1. Now we're going to compare this and see if it equals this, right? If it is occupied, it will not equal this, which means that this will shoot out a 0, which will then put out a 0 onto here and turn it off. So if I turn this on and I throw this in, it should turn it off. It did not do that at all.
Power low.
Okay, that time it did. That's, I don't think that's helping me. So I have to catch it. Immediately. So there's like a bunch of operations here. Like it has to read this. And then, man. How do I get this to work? Like I need to invert this input. Do I have an inverter? Is that a thing? Inverter. No. Okay, logic. Wait, there's a ton of logic stuff in here. Okay. Okay. So that's not helpful at all. I/O. That is a whole other thing too. That's great. Okay. So here's the problem. Like I need this thing to turn off, right? And once it processes the first one, it'll turn off. But I need it to turn off before it processes the first one. So I need like a shoot reader or something that I can plug into like just before it hits this. That way if that is occupied, meaning it's going to shoot into here. But no, that'll come up with problems too. You know what? I'm going to mess with this some more. I know that there's a way that you can do it using a computer and like the whole IC whatever thing, and you got to do a whole programming thing. I don't want to do that, right? I want to make it simple basics. That way, if I can figure out how to make this thing work, people can just copy this and, you know, put it into their own things and it'll work, right? So that's kind of what I'm going for. We'll see if it actually works though. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. I have more work to do, obviously, so I'm going to do that. And hopefully in the next episode, I will have figured it out and I can tell you how to do the thing. But for now, I mean, that's what I got. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And if you did, hope you'll join me for the next one. But until then, have a good one.